Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Kevin Costner. I remember looking up on Wikipedia, I always do, and Serena and she laughs at me because I'm always looking up where shows were filmed and stuff.
Yeah.
It was filmed in Alberta, yet based in Montana, correct?
Yeah, it was based in Montana and North Dakota, but we shot, well, they shot everywhere, but when I was part of it, it was shooting in High River.
Is that right,
Yeah.
huh?
I was the sheriff's deputy when they were.
I got to go back and watch it now.
Yeah, when they're staying in the jail cell, and he gets up for a drink of water, I'm the night guard. So yeah, that was my screen debut that way. I guess I'd done some stunts, and I had Joe Pickett is a TV show that I was in as well, so had a speaking line in that.
Kevin Costner's a big guy, huh?
He is a big guy.
Yeah.
So when you see him like playing a major league pitcher and stuff, like he definitely fits that role. Or John Dutton, he's
exactly.
He's the man.
I saw him in the Toronto airport walked right by him, and then met him at Craven a couple years later. He's like, I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
He's eye to eye, man.
Yeah.
He is a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big guy for sure.
Yeah.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
The Calgary Flames falling last night in overtime, and I'm trying to tell people in this town that it's a good team with a great coach. They'll be fine, but they get a little irrational around here, Lou, when the Flames lose a few games, man. You've noticed.
No, really. The Canadian markets are really easy, Rod, especially when there's high expectations. At least they came away with a point, because it would have been disastrous had they not.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the RP Show, coming at you live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. A couple shows left here in Calgary's entertainment destination. And, and then Grey Cup week. We got an awesome show lined up for you. Our good friend Arnie Jackson is here, minus the cowboy hat. He just poked his head out here on the stage. He'll be with us in hour one. And Mike Moore, the general manager of the Calgary Hitmen, the Calgary Wranglers, the Calgary Roughnecks. 3 teams he's the general manager of. Mooresy's going to be with us in hour two. There's a lot to get to with him. Let's bring in from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, Darren Moose Dupont. Hey, Moose, how you doing? I'm hearing everybody saying how cold it is. What's it in the Bermuda Triangle right now?
Yeah, it's pretty similar, Rod. It's chilly. Snow's still here. It feels like it's here for good. It really does.
Okay, gotcha. Well, listen, we open the microphones here. We're on Game Plus Television, WQE Radio. We got people writing in from Atlanta already. Howdy down there in the Big Peach. I'll say that I'm opening the microphone tired, Moose. Tired.
Okay.
Not physically, not mentally, just emotionally. Because we've hit a peak of life here where every single thing I say now is criticized by some people. So I'm at a point now where I'm just going to shut them all off. Didn't you say a while back I should turn off my mentions? I don't even know how to do that. I don't even know what that means. But I think I'm about to do that. Because I said in the 80s wearing Cooperalls, for those that don't know, the hockey pants that were actual pants that went right down to your ankles, was a status symbol. And believe me, they were. And people are writing me, no, they weren't, Rod. That's why they didn't last. Okay, maybe not in your world, because you don't know what it's like to be cool. But in the 80s, if you had Cooperalls, you were cool. And the Philly Flyers are bringing them back. But people that don't know cool, they will never, ever be convinced of that. So beyond that, can we hit the quick six show horn, Director Jordan? And let's get into it, please, and thank you. For those that don't know yet, this is let's get it up. Let's get the viewership up. Tell your friends. Rod and Moose are live, and Rod's annoyed with people, and that's always entertaining for everybody.
Oh, we lost Rod, which lets me talk about Cooperalls for a second. And, it's funny. We'll get him back here logged in just a second. Must just be an internet issue down at the Grey Eagle. But Cooperalls are interesting because they probably were cool in the 80s. I wasn't born till 87. So for me, growing up in the 90s and then the early 2000s, Cooperalls weren't cool then anymore. Cooperalls were what my sister wore playing ringette. Those are the only time we saw the Cooperalls, was the ringette players. That was my sister wearing Cooperalls, right? So Cooperalls weren't cool for me, but in the 80s, I bet you they were cool. And I believe they got rid of Cooperalls because of how slippery they were. And it became a danger thing, I think. But I'm not really sure. So we'll find out about that. Hopefully we'll get Rod back here so we can find out what happened at the Calgary Wranglers game last night. He was there. Mike Moore, of course, the GM of the Wranglers, Calgary's American Hockey League affiliate in their first season in Calgary at the Saddle Dome. He'll be alongside in hour 2. Great chance to be texting back and forth with their head coach, Mitch Love, who was formerly head coach in the Western Hockey League of the Saskatoon Blades, assistant coach with the Everett Silvertips. Texting back and forth with him. Seems like things are pretty good in Calgary. So that will be interesting to have the chat with him as well. The Flames falling last night again, this time 3-2. The Oilers win last night. So we'll get thoughts on those two games. Oilers going one way, Flames going the other. And I think Rod's ready to jump back in. Let me pass the baton back to you.
Yeah. Where, great job, Governor. Where did I leave you at? What was the last thing you heard?
You talked. No, you got through the Cooperalls, and then we got to the quick 6 show topics. And I just told everybody the flip side of the Cooperalls was, by the time I saw them in the late 90s, that was what my sister wore playing ringette. So it'll only be the young demographic that thinks they're not cool. I assume everybody a little bit older will think they're awesome.
Okay, now we really got to fly. So the morning skate from last night, Riley Smith scoring his second of the game, came 23 seconds into overtime, and the Golden Knights beat the Leafs 4-3. We have our top 5 and bottom 5 coming up, and we're having an earthquake, Moose. We're having an earthquake with seismic changes in the top 5 and the bottom 5 in the NHL, so hold on for that. In Newark, New Jersey, Nico Hischier scored off a rush with 8:10 to play, and New Jersey won its 7th straight, 3-2 over the Flames. Nothing against the Flames broadcast crew, but I was listening to them on the way into the Wranglers game, and they were chortling, and they were laughing at how much better they were on this night than Saturday against the Devils, and then oops, they did it again. And the Flames have lost 6 in a row. In Tampa, Connor McDavid had a goal and an assist to lead Edmonton past Tampa Bay 3-2. Warren Fogle and Leon Draisaitl also scored. Jack Campbell stopped 35 shots for the Oilers, who had lost 3 in a row. And, of course, ugly incident with Evander Kane leaving the game after being cut on the left wrist by a skate blade. But Evander announcing this morning via his social media that he's fine, sent out a statement. Elsewhere in Detroit, Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki scored in the shootout to lift Montreal past Detroit 3-2. In Ottawa, Bo Horvat scored twice. Vancouver rallied to beat Ottawa 6-4. And in Winnipeg, Mark Scheifele scored twice in Winnipeg's 4-goal second period. Winnipeg beat Dallas 5-1. And I'm just going to throw this in because it's Ebbs. Out there in the Emerald City, Seattle, Washington, Jordan Eberle scored 2 of Seattle's 4 goals in the first period, and the Kraken won their 5th straight 5-1. Over Nashville. So overreaction time for everybody. We're going to get into far more of this. Arnie's here. Are you wearing Wranglers, Arnie? It looks like you are. Yeah, of course he is. It's Arnie Jackson. We're going to get into more Oilers and Flames with Arnie when he joins us here next, actually for the next 3 segments, Moose. So I just want to tell you that Kinsman Telemiracle online 50-50 raffle is back. It's the 3rd straight year we're done it. We're excited to announce that the 50-50 raffle is live now for Telemiracle 47, and we're starting it this year at $100,000. The winner's going to take half this pot. You can go to telemiracle5050.com right now to buy your tickets. Tickets can be purchased by anyone over the age of 19. They got to physically be in the province of Saskatchewan. We air all across Saskatchewan, obviously through the podcast, through YouTube, and also on SaskTel Max television on Game Plus every day. So if you're in Sask, get your tickets. We're going to draw on my birthday, Friday, December 16th. It was so nice that they're going to do that. Our first 2 50-50 raffles sold over $1 million, so let's up that. Where are we going, Moose?
Higher.
Don't leave me hanging. We're going higher. Okay, moving on to point 2. It's the top 5 teams in the National Hockey League as we sit here opening the 5th week of the regular season. Are you ready? Number 1, it's the Vegas Golden Knights, Canada's team, Arnie. They've won 8 in a row. They're number 1 in the NHL and the hottest team in the NHL. Number 2, the Boston Bruins, best start in franchise history. Number 1 in the East, Number 3, the New Jersey Devils. 7 in a row is 7 in a row. Who knows how long it'll last, but they're hot now. Third hottest team in the NHL. Number 4, the Winnipeg Jets. They keep winning. Jets. Jets, Jets, Jets. Can I say this, Moose? 6th best record in the NHL? 6th best? Enjoy it while it lasts. And the 5th best team, number 1 in the Central, is nothing to sneeze at. It's the Dallas Stars. But they lost in Winnipeg last night, so we can't put them ahead of Winnipeg. So 1 Vegas, 2 Boston, 3 New Jersey, 4 Winnipeg, 5 Dallas. Any arguments?
No, I don't actually. And having the Jets in there is huge. You talk about seismic shifts. We lost the Rangers out of there, the Flames, the Oilers, all falling out of the top 5. And that's where you're going to see a lot of movement. So move them out, shuffle in New Jersey, Dallas, and the Winnipeg Jets, and let's roll. I like it. Let's see the bottom 5.
I know there's a lot of people here for football, so we'll get to that. Here are your bottom 5 teams in the NHL, starting with the 28th team in the NHL, the St. Louis Blues, losers of 8 in a row. They're clearly going the wrong way. I don't know if they can turn this around. 29th team, the Ottawa Senators, losers of 6 in a row. They are what we thought they were, the Ottawa Senators. The 30th team in the NHL, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the losers of 5 in a row. Has anybody seen Johnny Hockey? The second worst team in the NHL is the Anaheim Ducks, 4-8-1. Bill Parcells said it first. John Lynch made it famous. You are what your record says you are. And the worst team in the NHL is the San Jose Sharks, who, if you look, they've played more games than anybody else. And they have the worst record in the National Hockey League. So the 32nd team's the San Jose Sharks. Our NHL coverage brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the preferred plumbing, heating, and cooling company, the RPShow. If you know, you know. Hiring now. Find out everything you need to know about Bronco at broncoplumbing.com and our Facebook and Instagram pages. Moose, we're moving on to football here. Number 3, the Maple Missile. Tell me you heard that nickname for Curtis Rourke before Tuesday, because I didn't. Had you heard they were calling this kid from the Ohio Bobcats the Maple Missile?
I heard it this morning. That was it. Maple Missile and WestJet. What a brotherly combo that is.
How about that?
Nobody ever listens to the nicknames I give people, and that's fine. Me and Rod Black are the same that way. The Maple Missile. That's old school. That's like from the 1950s.
Yeah.
So Curtis Rourke of the Ohio Placeline, Oxford, Ohio. Curtis Rourke threw for 363 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Ohio beat Miami of Ohio 37-21 on Tuesday night in MAC conference play. Jacoby Jones made a diving catch in the end zone, his second score of the game with 12 minutes to go in the fourth to extend Ohio's lead to 31-14. They went on to romp 37-21. I came home from the Calgary Wranglers game last night, where I had a great chat with Richard Preston, the son of the greatest general manager in Saskatchewan Roughriders history, Ken Preston. Rico was there scouting for the Anaheim Ducks. I came home, flipped this game on. Fairly wild ending, but the Maple Missile wasn't having any of it, what Miami of Ohio was trying to do. And he looked calm. They say he's better than his brother. The Maple Missile. Do we have any idea who came up with that nickname? Because I want to buy him something.
Hoorah!
Maybe a lunch or whatever.
Like
that's so much better than Kid
Canada.
Canada. Like Kid Canada?
No.
Really? Really? A grade 1er could come up with that. The Maple Missile takes some time, Moose.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Good, the Maple Missile. I did. I watched a little bit of it for sure. And, the kid can throw and sling it, coming off the 5 touchdown performances the week before. Oh, man. Could you imagine? And then let's let somebody like the Ottawa Red Blacks or the Toronto Argonauts get a hold of him, and let's let Nathan stay in Vancouver, and maybe we get some great Cup matchups because, I like WestJet because he's on the West Coast, and I love the Maple Missile. Those are 2 great names.
WestJet was perfect, but nobody was picking up on that from WestJet. Didn't even acknowledge that was my nickname for Nathan Rourke. So anyways, people are asking, when's Curtis Rourke eligible for the CFL draft? I don't know. I'm not a scout. Maybe some of the football people can tell us. First, a word from our sponsors, Edo Japan. Delicious Japanese-inspired meals and snacks made to order with high-quality ingredients. Point 4, the Toronto Raptors return home for a visit from the Houston Rockets tonight. The Raptors have won 4 of 5 at Scotiabank Arena. They're coming off a road loss at Chicago. But who cares about them? Here come the Hawks! The Atlanta Hawks are home to the Utah Jazz tonight, and Moose, the Jazz are 9-3, number 1 team in the Western Conference. Arnie, what year is it? The Utah Jazz are number 1 in the West. Is Jerry Sloan coaching them again? Did they go to short shorts? And they're taking on the Atlanta Hawks tonight, who are 4th in the East. This, my friends, is the NBA's featured game tonight. Before we move on to just a CFL note, before I let you go, Moose, New York Fries is a proud member of the Calgary community, and to give back, they're hosting free public skating opportunities at ice rinks around Calgary, open to families and the general public in support for kids sport. Calgary, visit FamilySkateYYC.com for a full list of times and locations presented by New York Fries. Without a word of a lie, as God is my witness, I was talking to my sponsor this morning. I said I was coming back to Regina, and he said, for what? He's in Regina, Darren. So tell me, what's the Grey Cup? What's the Grey Cup buzz with the 2 minutes we have left here? As we're down to the final 4.
You know, I know. Yeah, I know some people that are on that Grey Cup committee doing a hell of a job getting everything up and doing some really great things. But overall in the city, there's not a lot of buzz. I have to say, unfortunately, there's just not a lot of buzz yet. I'd like to think that when everybody starts rolling into town on Monday, that it's going to get moving. I'd like to hope that, but so far it feels. I hope to calm before the storm, but it's very, very calm right now.
Well, that sucks. From Darren in Utah watching Game Plus TV, he says, no one knows who plays for the Jazz, not even us here in Utah. Well, maybe you better pick it up because they're the number 1 team in the Western Conference. I just figured that out today. From Andrew Stout, he says, no buzz in Regina. I have not heard anything about it. From Rich Robertson in Edmonton, he said, what is this Grey Cup you speak of? Regarding the nickname WestJet, from Wayne in BC. Well, Rod, I loved WestJet. From Elam Wilson, says WestJet is fantastic. I think nobody jumped on it just because I was the one that came up with it. If I had come up with Maple Missile, nobody would be talking about it right now. But I'm not smart or creative enough to come up with a Maple Missile because it could very easily be Nathan's nickname. I think it's fantastic, man. It's
so good. So good.
We had to get an American to come up with the Maple Missile nickname. That is embarrassing to me, Moose.
I know. Like that we couldn't do that in our own thing. And after Mapletron, though, so maybe they just went off of that. But still, it's still very creative to go with Maple Missile. I think that's incredible. And the WestJet thing, it just hasn't taken off yet. Still lots of opportunity.
What's WQEE Rock saying down there? I missed it. Ryan or Radio on the air in Atlanta right now. I can't see it because my computer monitor. Time for another great show. Thank you, Ryan or Radio. Last one here. Jennifer in the Four Seasons says, no buzz in Regina because the Riders are not in it. Wrong answer, Jen. We weren't in it in 95. We weren't in it in 03. And those Grey Cups were bangers. Wrong answer. Moose, I'll see you later in hour 2.
Later.
All right. Arnie Jackson in next. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. And Mike Moore in hour 2. It's the RP Show live from the Stage Bar, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on Game Plus TV, your favorite podcast platform, YouTube, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your knee, leading to joint damage or even a permanent disability. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
You're looking live at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We're live on this beautiful Wednesday. I would say morning, but we are in the afternoon to our Eastern viewers. And by the way, Angelo is a listener down in Atlanta, WQEE. Writes in and says, I missed a few shows, but I guess you heard the Atlanta Gladiators bought one-day rights from the Winnipeg Jets to have Thrashers Night on December 16th. I might have to take the trek down there to Atlanta for that night, for the pro team in Atlanta now having Winnipeg Jets and Thrashers Night. I love it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can we get on the screen the great Arnie Jackson? And I say great for a lot of reasons. How you doing, Arnie?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You don't even realize that I think this, but I just want to tell the viewers that, you know, we're getting a lot of plaudits, those of us that are out doing our own thing now in the broadcast world. Arnie is the OG of freelancing and doing his own thing, man. You're the original gangster. You've been doing it for 40 years. Hey?
Pretty much, yes.
40 years. And he brought me these rodeo programs from the Canadian Finals Rodeo. We will get to that. But as one of the viewers said here earlier, hockey lives everywhere. And it's really living here in Calgary, but they are upset. The Flames have lost 6 in a row.
Yeah, and I think it's just that time of the year when they're getting to know each other, trying to figure out who skates, who stick handles right, left, who's in the spot and who's not. And the old word gel comes to mind. They have to gel together. We've got lots of new players amongst the Calgary Flames team, so it'll take a little while. I'm not terribly surprised. I think by Christmas they'll have it all finished and figured out. Darryl is not a quitter. He will not give up on the guys. He believes in them. He believes that they can be better than they are, and he'll keep instrumentally working to that end.
We got Arnie with us till the top of the hour, so there's a lot of things that we're going to get into this guy. That's the respect I have for this guy. He covers all the sports. He goes to all the Flames games. And, just before we do jump back into the National Hockey League, because I think that's what a lot of people have come here today to talk about. And, of course, the Oilers won, and the Jets are the number one team in Canada as we speak. Looked like quite a week up in Red Deer, so we should mention that.
Oh, no question about it. 48th year for the Canadian Funnels Rodeo at where the Red Deer Rebels of the Western Hockey League play. And I think they've really found a new home there the first couple of years. And then we missed 1 year because of COVID. Not sure whether it was going to take on, but they've made some alterations. They do 2 performances on the Saturday now. They start at noon. That accommodates those who maybe want to view it because it is now live on television, especially in eastern markets, because that's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sportsnet, Cowboy Channel, what? What's it on?
And Flow
TV?
Flow Rodeo, yes.
Oh, cool.
So lots of coverage for it. And by starting at noon, those who have to travel can get away by 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon and get home, even on the final championship Sunday afternoon. So lots of good things that they're doing. And I think they're listening to the fans, those who really support the sport, and trying to respond to them.
They do that? Some organizations
They
do
do
that?
that.
Wow. Well, and by the way, Arnie knows that I really like rodeo, but as I told my brother, a competitive team roper and steer wrestler, I was sitting on his couch at the farm a couple of weeks ago, said, I like rodeo, I don't love rodeo. And that's a respect to the rodeo people. Like,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like the Calgary Stampede final Sunday, that is a marathon, dude. That was a long day.
Well, because they have 2 go-rounds. For
Right.
those who are rodeo fans, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Those who qualified for Championship Sunday get basically a runoff, and then they cut the field down to 4, and the top 4 come back. And if there's a tie in any of the events, they might be on a 3rd horse or even a 4th horse. I can recall years ago when Steve Dunham from Turner Valley and a gentleman out of Balzac that was also in the bareback riding at that time managed to tie not only one but twice, and they finally shook hands and said, let's just split the top money.
That. They shared the check. Yeah. Well, from Nelson Hackowich, one of our viewers, he says, I find myself watching more and more the Cowboy Channel than I ever thought I would. Love a good rodeo. No, it's fantastic. But I do want to get around to hockey here. John Massey in Edmonton, he's a Riders fan, but he's an Oilers fan. He says, but I thought someone here said the Flames were the NHL's number 1 team in October. I did say that in October, and that's why we've had a seismic shift a month later. Neither the Oilers nor the Flames are in the top 5 of the National Hockey League as far as this show's concerned today. But, Arnie, you've lived in this province your whole life.
Pretty much. I was in Saskatchewan at CFSL for a while. CKLN in Nelson, where I learned to do play-by-play of hockey.
How about that?
Did the Nelson Maple game.
How about that? And there's a lot. But even they are talking about Oilers or Flames. Flames or Oilers. That's daily debate in Alberta.
And
right?
it's 1-1 with the tiebreaker coming up just at the
December 27th.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, did you win last night?
Actually, I did not.
Well, you watch all the Holmes games. I mean, I just wondered if you have a take on what's wrong with the Flames, because here, all I heard, and I snickered at it somewhat, was, oh, they're changing the lines. They're changing the lines. I'm like, to quote my mom, that doesn't add up to a tinker's dam if they're not going to play hard and play smart.
Yep.
And then they say we got to get on the road. That's the analysts. I don't know that the Flames themselves were saying that, but they said, oh, that's 8 straight at home. They got to get out on the road. They'll be fine. Well, the losings continued on the road. So I wonder what happens next.
But in fairness to them, they have been in the games. They're not blowouts. They are there, and maybe one penalty too many here or there, or maybe just a missed pass. And, timing is everything in that game. It's like driving a car safely, timing and location. And where are you at the right time is a factor in the game of hockey. And I think they're still trying to find themselves and where their teammates are or their line mates.
Do you find, do you interview Daryl after the games anymore? Like, are you in that media pool like you used to be?
I go to the scrum, yes.
You do. Do you find, because Jay Woodcroft up in Edmonton, I'm still trying to get criticism. I think we're all getting used to him. But with Daryl, do you find when the Flames are winning, he's really hard on them, but when they're losing, he's not as hard on them? Do you know what I'm saying?
From a media standpoint, we get the better quotes from Daryl when they're not winning or when they're having some struggles on ice and in front of the crowd, because I appreciate his years of being in the game and his analysis from being on the bench and being with the players. He gets the feedback. He hears them whisper. He hears them talk. He hears them when they're mad. And he knows when they're glad, too. So I appreciate Daryl's calmness. When he comes back out, he doesn't shout and fly off the handle and start berating the guys.
Has he ever? I don't think he ever has he?
I don't think he ever has either. Not in Los Angeles, not when he was here before, not when he was in Chicago. So, no, he's the ultimate mentor, I think, because he believes in the guys, and he would never tell anybody, even if he was disappointed, that that's the way he feels. Let's just work on it and get everybody working together. He's a team sportsman.
I don't know, guys. The viewers are saying that the connection's choppy. It's fine for me. I don't know. I'm just going to sit here and have a sports discussion with Arnie. I can't run the internet, too. So maybe, I had a dream the other night that Daryl got fired, and it was just a dream. I think it might have been a nightmare more, because he's not going anywhere.
He just signed another 2-year contract.
Right. But the fans, you can understand why they're so upset. But the one thing about this town, and that's why I asked where else you've lived, they get so high and then so low. It reminds me of Rough Riders fans. It's like, can you guys even it out a little bit? I don't think they're ever going to. Not at this stage of the game.
Well, I think as sports fans, you learn to accept them all. Our Stampeders are not going anyplace now either, and BC proved that last weekend. And it'll be between Winnipeg and BC who gets to go to Saskatchewan, who is also not going to be represented at the final this year. So, it's the ups and downs of sports. It's just like a commodity that you put on the counter, and it sells well to start with, and then it tapers off. Maybe everybody's got one, I don't know, but those are the ebbs and the waves that are in sports. And that's what sports is really all about, is winning, and we hate that word, losing.
And how do you manage it when you are losing?
Yes.
I guess is my point. And I guess if we sit here and say how great Daryl is, which we believe, and the Flames are a talented team, then you can't blame the fans for going, then why aren't you winning? And I think to say that they're still gelling, which is what I would say. It was the first thing that popped into my mind. I'm like, they're still getting to know each other. But they got to start winning soon.
Well, they were up in the game the other night that I was watching.
3-1 at Islanders, yes.
Yep, and it got away on them. So how do you conclude? What do you do in that third period to play kitty bar the door, as the old sports cliche goes, and ensure that you hold on to that? Well, the other team wants to win too, let's be honest, and there's two teams on the ice, both with the same goal in mind.
Yeah, by the way, I heard the analysts saying that the Flames are a fragile team mentally, and I thought, I'm not really buying that either. They're playing like it, but they shouldn't be because they're an older veteran team. Got to ask you this. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, and he says, sounds like Bo will return to Calgary in a few years and reunite with the Stampeders as a coach. Yeah, but what's going to happen in between's what's got everybody talking. With the Stamps out, will they be following the rest of the CFL playoffs in Calgary, the fans, sports fans?
I think so.
Yeah.
Football fans are football fans, just like hockey fans are. You talked about Las Vegas being number one in the league, and gosh, I couldn't be happier. There's an expansion franchise in the last decade, and look where they are. And hey, one of my favorites, Sean Burke, who played for Team Canada during the 1988 Winter Olympics here in Calgary, is the coaching
for Seattle,
or
for
the
Vegas,
goaltending coach there. So Las Vegas has done lots of things right in organizing, and when they've made their changes, they haven't been dramatic enough to throw them off course. So I think we could all learn something from how to introduce a new team to a new city, and possibly not what you'd call a hockey-based city, and yet be successful. So congratulations to the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Well, to be honest, I was one thinking that they weren't going to make the playoffs this year. And let's remind ourselves, it's November
yes.
9th. They still might not, but they've won 8 in a row, and they are the best team in the National Hockey League. And by the way, what we're going to do is take a timeout. We'll come back with a sports update, because you said introducing a new team to a new city. Well, there's expansion news in this country today. We'll talk about the breaking news that's come down and more with Arnie Jackson, and we will get to those rodeo stories as well. Mike Moore is coming up in hour 2, the general manager of the Hitmen, the Wranglers, and the Roughnecks. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time. Big time.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is Sports Talk in the daytime, Game Plus TV and WQEE Radio. Before we pick up more with our good friend Arnie Jackson, the OG of broadcasters as far as I'm concerned out here in Western Canada. WHL last night in Winnipeg billed as a matchup of the Western Hockey League's top heavyweights. The Winnipeg Ice knocked off the Red Deer Rebels 3-1 at Wayne Fleming Arena. They'll do it again tonight. Play, that is. We'll see who wins. In Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Maximus Warner scored twice as the Warriors down the Edmonton Oil Kings 7-2. Edmonton's at Regina tonight. And in Medicine Hat. The Prince Albert Raiders spotted the Medicine Hat Tigers. The first goal, then stormed back with 3 unanswered to record a 3-1 win. And halfway through the 2022 season, it appears NFL defenses have finally started catching up to the league's high-octane offenses. Scoring is down to its lowest level in more than a decade. The 21.8 points per game average through 9 weeks is the lowest at this stage of the season since 2010. This sports update for Edo Japan. From hand-rolled sushi to bento box meals made with their famous teriyaki sauce, Edo Japan's menu has something for everyone. Arnie Jackson with us, most famous for Rodeo and Chuck Wagon announcing, but he's covered it all, including the Stampeders. And somebody just wrote into our website, rodpeterson.com, and said, Arnie, how come the Rough Riders couldn't have given a proper send-off to Cody Fajardo, a passing of the torch, like has happened in Calgary with Bo Levi Mitchell to Jake Mayer? What's the sense in this town, sports-wise, that Bo's time is up after all the great things he's done for the Horsemen?
Well, a decade here. He became a household name, even if you're a casual fan of the sport of football. And as a result, I think even the sympathetic would say, did he get a fair goodbye? I mean, we all age out of all of the things that we do at one time or another. And I think he recognized that it was time to bring somebody up. And if he can help groom the newer quarterbacks and the newer players and the wide receivers and everybody else on the team, I think he could be a mentor for days to come. But, of course, no word right now what he'll do. And maybe in his heart he still thinks, I can play another year. And why not? Maybe 2 or 3 years.
I think that's what he wants
Somebody
to do.
needs him. And I think he's still in good enough condition physically and mentally to be an alert quarterback for another team, maybe in the CFL, because he knows the game so well now.
Tell you what, when you get shown the door after spending a long time in one place where you've given everything you have, you don't want your story to end that way. And I don't even know Bo personally, but I know enough to know his story ain't over. So it's certainly very interesting to bear watching. Now, Arnie's like a fountain of exuberance. You see it with a smile on his face. But forget about what's going on in sports right now. I think we've covered all of it. The Olympics in '88, you think that the Olympics should come back to Calgary? Maybe that's what it will take to get a new arena here. Can you tell our viewers what you were just... And we're on the radio in Atlanta. They know what the Olympics are all about down there and all across this country, too. You got a plan, Arnie.
Greatest time in my sports broadcasting career, the '88 Winter Olympics, and the years leading up to it. So I know that we start talking about the hundreds of millions of dollars that it takes to make it happen. But let's not forget, the games are not for just 2 weeks. They are for the years leading up to it. We had pre-Olympics the year before in 1987. You start formulating the different national tournaments. I had the privilege of being the voice to Team Canada. As we talked about earlier, Sean Burke, part of Team Canada for the 88 games. But many people were getting excited by play-by-play and traveled around with the team. Can we get back to that? There's only one, 3 letters in the word yes. Why not? Vancouver has recently determined that it's not the right time. We don't have to build all the facilities. We have a beautiful speed skating oval. We do have the hills close. Lake Louise for the giant slalom. Canmore, phenomenal. Still world-class cross-country skiing there. Let's get the Illusion bobsleigh going. Let's start training people here. Hey, the Olympics aren't about just the 2 weeks. It's all that time. Calgary could be the permanent North American host when the games come every, whatever it is, 12 years or 8 years, whatever that rotation would be, and they would keep the conditions up to speed all year round because the athletes would come. What a great boon for the city of Calgary.
Yeah.
And here's a thought. If you train in Calgary at 3,500 feet and you can breathe properly and you can be at a competitive level, you can compete anywhere in the world. Yeah. This would be the permanent Olympic North American home because of its altitude, because of its atmosphere, and because of the facilities.
There is your sales pitch for the World Olympic Committee, the International Olympic Committee. There you go. But I see that those that are watching on YouTube right now have exploded into a Yellowstone discussion because the next season 5 is coming out next week, and they're all saying who their favorite character is. Living in Calgary, and let's remember, I did for college, I lived out here. but it's like Yellowstone every single day, which is awesome if you like Western culture, which clearly you do, Arnie. But let's tell our viewers, I hate to be that guy sitting around talking about the old days, but we used to have a national hockey program, men's program, that would travel around and play exhibition games.
Dave King?
Must
head
have been the
coach
greatest.
there.
I mean, I remember it. I watched them playing, but tell the young people watching that was a thing. We don't do it anymore.
No question. And he was an outstanding coach, first of all, from your province, Saskatchewan. He was in Saskatoon at the university. And that mentoring, that's maybe why he didn't have great success when he was the head coach of the Calgary Flames, because he's so much of a teacher, so much of a... I learned more about the game from Dave King than probably any other broadcaster, because I got to sit on the bus with him and hear his perspective on why they did things. And all of a sudden, you start to realize there's more to the game from the coaching standpoint than there is from the fans, because it's not all rah, rah, rah. And there's personalities in there and everything else that you have to deal with. Injuries and family events, personal events that sometimes can be tragedies that come into everybody's lives at different times. And yet, Dave King had that unique quality of being able to deal with them all one-on-one. I think everybody felt like he was their coach.
I just try to refresh my memory. Were the Flames a talented team when Dave King took over? And the reason I ask that is there's a lot of great coaches in junior and even, let's say, minor pro that get up to the NHL, but they're coaching a terrible team. Lauren Mulligan's a great example of that with the Chicago Blackhawks. They were a bad team when Lauren got in there and took over Chicago. How were the Flames when Dave King took over, talent-wise?
You know that word, rebuilding.
Yeah, well, that's
they were
not
on their
fair
way
to
back
Dave.
up,
That's not fair to Dave.
But he came in, but he thought was needed at that time, but he couldn't go beyond that, and that's when his time was up. They had to move on. We've had some great coaches here. Pierre Pagé was one. Bob Johnson, when he first came, liked it so well, he came back for a second time after leaving for a couple of years. So we had a great history of individuals that believed in the game, understood it from a different perspective, and I think the challenge for whomever is the general manager of the hockey team is to make sure that the right pieces are in that jigsaw puzzle, and that includes the coach, the assistant coaching staff that support everybody else that they have to oversee. Make sure they're there at the right time.
In 60 seconds, it's a favorite topic that comes up every day. I just want to ask you, in this town, it comes up every day, will there be a new arena for the Flames? And then off that, will there be a new stadium for the Stampeders?
I think the Stampeder Stadium is further down the road, and that's unfortunate. I'd love to see a facility much like Regina has managed to put together for all of Saskatchewan and for all of Western Canada to admire. And maybe the Olympics is the impetus we need to push that new football stadium, because you need the opening and closing ceremonies in a massive facility. Let's do one that at least has a portable roof that can cover it. I know how much the Stampeders have enjoyed through this brief winter break, practicing in a bubble that is there for soccer and indoor tennis and whatever. We have to do that. That's part of the geography of being in Calgary. We need a facility like that. So there again, I'm trying to sell the yes, but that might be a reason why you push it a little bit quicker and get them a facility. You have it for the opening and closing ceremonies. It could be year-round. Indoor track meets. We could get a major team in baseball back again. We used to have the Vipers, and before that, the Cannons. Yeah.
What a great sports city.
Aluminum seats that are collapsible can do amazing things. With Calgary wanting all the convention facilities, you could build that football stadium and use the seats to fold up and use it for convention arena time too. Let's get it going 12 months of the year, not 12 days.
This guy needs to be in charge, spearheading the movement. Viewer takeover next. Your questions for Arnie and me, and maybe we'll recap this CFR2. Mike Moore coming up live in hour 2 from the Grey Eagle Stage Bar. We're live on Game Plus TV, YouTube, and on your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might fracture your wrist, resulting in a lifetime of painful arthritis. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
One more time with Arnie Jackson. By the way, we do have breaking news. I'll get into more of it in hour two. But the Canadian Elite Basketball League, Canada's official First Division Pro League, partner of Canada Basketball, announced today it's expanding to Winnipeg for the 2023 season. They're coming to Calgary, moving the Guelph Nighthawks here. They're going to be known as the Calgary Surge. We'll talk about that more next hour. And the Canadian Football League welcoming Tegan Littlechief for singing "Oh Canada" ahead of the 109th Grey Cup on Sunday, November 20th. She's a good friend of all of ours. The recording artist from White Bear First Nations of Treaty 4, located north of Carlisle, Sask, is set to perform the national anthem in Cree, English, and French. So kudos to you, Tegan. I know you're going to rock it. We can wind up all of the rodeo chat with Arnie by looking ahead to the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas. Arnie, your eyes lit up. You're obviously going.
Thursday, December the 1st, 10 days, just like the Calgary Stampede, 10 great days, no double performances, so it runs from the Thursday until the following Saturday, and they're all evening performances. They'll all be televised. You talked about the Cowboys channel, and that, yes, every performance of the NFR. Some Canadians of note. 3-time Calgary Stampede champion, now 3-time Canadian champion. And I speak of Zeke Thurston of Big Valley, Alberta, and his dad, Skeeter, a great bronc rider, but never won 3 world titles. And his son has a chance to do that this year as he heads down to Las Vegas for the national finals. Hot off another Canadian championship just last Sunday. Now, a couple of others of note. You're from Saskatchewan more recently. Ty Tapotat out of Regina in that area. Rodeoed for a long time. He finally won a bareback championship. Now living at Nat, and I don't know if there's a connection there, but going up to Red Deer, he was rested up, and he was hot all week long, so congratulations to Ty Tapotat. Bull riding. Also from Saskatchewan, Maple Creek, Saskatchewan, as a matter of fact, Jared Parsonage, and he's your new bull riding champion. Steer wrestling, Scott Gunther, who has been to the NFR but is not going this year and probably won't go anymore because he's adjusting to family life. Yes, he's raising some kids, and staying close to home is important. Calf roping, the only American to win a Canadian title
Is
this
it a
year.
tie-down roping now?
Ty Harris.
Yes.
Oh, you can call it that if you want. That's a political title for it. The real event is called calf roping.
I agree. My favorite, but continue.
And ladies barrel racing, Taylor Manning, she's been there for 5 years. She turned 18 this year, so now she can go wherever to celebrate. And that was her trip to the Canadian finals in Red Deer this year, winning it all. Breakaway roping, and that's a new event only in its second year, and it's also going to be part of the National Finals Rodeo this year. And our breakaway roper was Kendall Pedersen from Wardlow, Alberta. Team roping went to Dawson and Dylan Graham, the brothers, and the men's all-around title to Wyatt Hayes, and the women's all-around title to Kylie Whiteside. So there's a wrap-up on our recent Canadian finals in Red Deer, where the Rebels play hockey, and a number of them heading south now, Las Vegas, and they'll get down there and do some practicing and adjust to the different climate and everything else, and we look forward to cheering for about 10 Canadians at NFR.
A record. But by the way, a lot of NHL questions coming in that we'll push into next hour when Mike Moore joins us, but these rodeos that I go to, I asked you about Cody Snyder's bull busting here.
Yes.
The Stampede at GMC Stadium, the Red Deer Center. They're bursting at the walls with people attending, right? Has it always been that way, or is that just
No, it hasn't. And when it was at Northlands in Edmonton, the first few nights we'd have under 10,000. It took till probably Saturday night to get a sellout at the old Northlands Coliseum, and then Sunday afternoon it tapered off again. Maybe that's why they moved it from a 2 o'clock start up to noon, thinking they might do better if people could still get home that night and get back to their chores. Because it's working in Red Deer. They didn't have many sellouts on a final Sunday afternoon. It was more a Saturday night up there.
Arnie, you are a rock star. I appreciate you. Always
Thank you.
have. But thank you for coming down. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time when we're in town.
Rodeo rock star.
The Rodeo rock star. The
you
first. The OG. Hey, all these questions that come in, they want to talk about Gary Bettman in Winnipeg. They want to talk about the resurgence of Carter Hart and the Philly Flyers. We'll get into some dub talk, the Apple, NLL, all kinds of things. And thank you, Arnie, for the program. He brought this from the CFRA.
Yes, I did.
He knows the CFR. He knows that I am a nerd for these kinds of things. We'll see you after this break on Game Plus TV and WQEE Radio.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head and cause a lifelong injury. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
The Calgary Flames falling last night in overtime, and I'm trying to tell people in this town that it's a good team with a great coach. They'll be fine, but they get a little irrational around here, Lou, when the Flames lose a few games, man. You've noticed.
No, really. The Canadian markets are really easy, Rod, especially when there's high expectation. At least they came away with a point, because it would have been disastrous had they not.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the RP Show. It is hour 2. As the man said, we're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination, live on Game Plus TV, your favorite podcast platform. We're live streaming on YouTube and on the radio, WQEE 99.1 FM down in Atlanta. A lot of questions have come in and spilled over into hour 2 for Arnie Jackson. We'll have to bring the OG back in our next stint when we come back to Calgary, because we're wrapping up our final week. But in hour 1, we put to bed last night's games. We talked about our top 5 in the NHL and the bottom 5. Talked about the Maple Missile, Curtis Rourke lighting it up for the Ohio Bobcats again last night. Tonight, we turn our attention to tonight's games, and welcome into the program, making his RP Show debut, Mike Moore, longtime friend of mine. He is the vice president of the Calgary Hitmen, the Calgary Wranglers, the Calgary Roughnecks. And out of all those jobs, Moorsey, you found time to come down here. I appreciate you.
Teams are away. That's
they're on the road, yeah. I'm telling you, how do you, literally, I say that not facetiously, that is a lot of work, man. You've been doing it a while.
Yeah, it's fun work. I got great people around me. That's how you get good things done, is you hire good general managers, hire good business managers, and I've got really good ones, and great team that works with me, and we do it together.
Have you, when we first met, were you always with the Hitmen, or had you been with another team? We're talking back into the 90s.
I started in 97. Well, I started in 94-5 with Kamloops as a scout.
That's what I thought.
For 3 years.
Yes.
Hitmen in 97, 98. Went back to Kamloops for 6 years as GM. Then to Medicine Hat. Edge School here in Calgary as athletic director 3 years. And this is season 16, I think, back with the Hitmen. And
Right.
The Flames.
So, as Mike knows and our viewers know, we love our junior hockey. We obviously love our pro hockey. And quite frankly, I love the National Lacrosse League. So if you have any questions for that, and then we'll work our way towards tonight's 4-game NHL slate. The Moose will join us a little later. College football tonight. But the thing that's burning in me to ask you is the Calgary Wranglers. And I went there last night. It was my dad's first ever team, you know, early 80s. Doug Sauter hired a junior team back then. But it meant a lot to the city to bring the Wranglers back. Would you not agree? You're from here.
Yeah, for sure. It's not really bringing them back, bringing the name back for sure.
Right,
It's bringing
right,
the
right.
American League team
Yeah.
the first time, but Yeah, the name is synonymous with the 80s junior team. Kelly Kissio, Dana Merzen, Mike Vernon, some pretty good players
Doug
that played on that
Huda.
hockey team, Doug Huda and onward. So yeah, it's neat bringing the brand back for sure. Early on, we've had a great following. People are excited to come down to the Saddle Dome, watch American Hockey League hockey and the Wranglers themselves. The jerseys are terrific. I've had a lot of good feedback on the jerseys. So it's been a real good, exciting start to the American League coming to Calgary.
I got so many questions for you. And by the way, for our producers and for the Moose, our co-host Darren, Morrissey's only with us for one segment, so the next segment we'll bring Darren in and get to these other topics. I got to say this about the jersey, though, Mike, as a longtime Dub guy. I don't care for the gold you guys put in it. I know you had to, but the Wranglers didn't have. They had a little blue in it, didn't they?
Wranglers?
Well, red and white for sure, but
way
they
back
never,
when. Way back.
Yeah,
when.
Yeah. But you did that because of the Flames thing.
Well, I think it's certainly the affiliation with the NHL team. The red, white, and gold, or yellow, whatever you call it, is Flames. And yeah, I like the tie. I like the W. I like the flame in the W. There's that connection, and those are the guys that are trying to get to the big league, and get to the big team. And it's great that our fans, Flames fans, can follow the young guys, watch their development, and in 3 weeks of playing, you're seeing development already. It's kind of neat to watch the young guys continue to grow, and two Wrangler players have been playing with the Flames the last couple nights, so that's kind of neat to watch where they get the opportunity.
A lot of merch on people too. I've seen in town and obviously in the rink last night. Wranglers merch. How much easier is it for you and Daryl Sutter to have your American Hockey League team right under your nose as opposed to Stockton?
Well, we're watching them all the time, or I guess Flames Hockey's watching them all the time. They're right there. They're working with them. They're helping them develop, helping them grow, sharing ideas together. Travel's obviously a lot easier than trying to get to Stockton, California. The guys have a great facility over at Winsport that we set as a practice facility. The Saddle Dome's a great place to play. Opening night, I think we had 6,000 people in the building, so a little different than what was happening in Stockton. We're real excited to have them right in our backyard.
No question. Jeff, the Stamps fan watching, he says, the Wranglers were the first big-time hockey game I ever went to before Calgary Flames existed. You too, huh? Me too. That's where I got hooked on, was the Regina Pats. And it kind of warms your heart, does it not, to see the kids at these games? Hitmen too. It doesn't mind.
Absolutely. And we're I think 4 home games in, maybe 5, 6 now. I can't. Who's counting? But trying to figure out who the demographic is, and certainly Hitmen is families and kids and young kids, and Sunday Fun Day is full of young kids. Wranglers, there's kids and families, but there's certainly a lot of Flames diehards where you see the Flames jerseys. I think it's people that maybe don't get to the Flames games at the Saddle Dome as much, watch it on TV a little bit more, but now can come see the up-and-comers and watch pro hockey at a very reasonable price in the Saddle Dome.
How long, when you said your 16 seasons, when did you become involved with the AHL team? Is this the 16th season of that?
For me, first year.
Oh, the first year? Since they've come back.
Yeah,
okay.
I hadn't done anything with the American League team until our group made the decision to bring them here, and then working with Brad Pascal and Jamie Cochran and all of our group to get them here and figure out where practices and practice facility and games and schedule. There's a lot of moving parts through the summer that we need to deliver to get 4 teams in that building.
Well, it was a sparse crowd last night, but it was minus 27, I think, or minus 29, so I get it. But I don't think people... It's a hockey town, obviously, but I'm not sure they know how great the hockey is.
Yeah, it's fast-paced. Junior hockey's great, as you and I both know after following it for so many years. But it's kind of neat seeing the young guys that have played in the Western League now playing in the American League, and stars that are trying to cut their teeth in pro hockey and trying to find their way to the NHL, which, as we both know, is a big step. So watching that progression from junior to the American Hockey League to the NHL, we're lucky in Calgary to be able to see all 3 levels in one building and watch players literally go from one level to the next level to the next level. It's a neat progression.
Is that your biggest challenge, is getting the word out that it is that good a hockey, or even that we're here? Fans know the Wranglers are here. What's next?
Most fans know the Wranglers are here, but I think there's an education piece still in place. Who are the Wranglers? What are the Wranglers? To your point, what kind of hockey is it? Everyone knows the Hitmen after 27 years here, who they are. We've got to establish who the Wranglers are and why fans should come down and watch the Wranglers as well.
Well, shows like this don't hurt. And last night, as I call him, Dustin from Tustin, I'm really pulling for that kid. I love my dub players and obviously love my goalies and Tristan Robbins on the other side, and unfortunately Ozzy Weisblatt. Was he hurt?
He hasn't played a game yet this year, so I don't think so, but he has not played it. He's not dressed yet this year.
Well, when he does, and he's a Calgary boy, right? It would have been a home game for him last night. But I'm really interested, Mike Moore, of CSEC, Calgary Sports Entertainment Corporation, about the Roughnecks, because I didn't know anything about lacrosse till I went to a game, and now I love it. What did you know about lacrosse before becoming the VP?
I know a little bit more than I knew when I started. I'm still learning some of that. I look at Bordy and say, what was that as far as the penalty goes?
Yeah.
The rules are, it took me, when I started, I had no idea, and I had to learn. It's tremendous entertainment. You can't find better entertainment as far as start to finish with music and enthusiasm of our fan, and lots of goals and lots of pace, and never ends. It's overload of adrenaline, and it's such a great product, and I've learned to love the game and don't miss any.
Me too. Well, Derek Keenan was on here last week, the general manager of the Saskatchewan Rush, as you would know, and the training camps are open, right? And you're into the preseason, and we talked about the party, particularly here in the Saddledome. Everybody said the Rush have the great atmosphere, and I think for years they did, but Calgary, and I say this honestly, might have surpassed them, where the game is somewhat secondary to the party, but even the games are fantastic. You got a great coach here, right?
We do. Kurt Milosky played with us. He's coached with us for a while, and there's a reason we have the tagline, come for the party, stay for the game. So
it's true. Yeah. Well, are they all like the St. Patrick's Day game? Because that was the game I was at.
We believe in entertaining the fans, so we have bands post-game every game in the club. We'll have bands on the floor. We'll do a pre-game entertainment during the game. There's never a shortage of entertainment for the fans and being entertained. And when you talk to people that have been, they say, I've got to come back. It's been once, they'll come back, because the entertainment value is just so high. And it's great. And they're great athletes. I mean, they beat the crap out of each other night in and night out, and they're tremendous athletes.
Well, the best NLL story to me was when Biz Nasty talked down, shall we say, talked noise about the Vancouver Warriors, and they said, yeah, you must have been familiar with that story. They said, why don't you come out and participate in a practice?
Actually, saw him in Vancouver that week that he was doing it, and we were in Vancouver for meetings that week, so yeah, we had a good chat with him.
He's not doing that again. He's not talking again about NLL athletes.
No, I thought they did a great job in Vancouver of building that up and showing what the game was with Biz, and it was good. It was a good program.
Do you get involved in personnel at all, or stay away from that?
I believe in letting the GMs do their job, the coaches do their job. Certainly there for advice and bouncing ideas off of, and sharing in the good times and the bad times, and how do we fix things and how do we make things better all the time. And but we've got good GMs, and with the Hitmen with Jeff Chenault, and Mike Board with the Roughnecks, Brad Pascal with the Wranglers. Brad works with Tree real close on that group, more on the business side with the Wranglers. But really key personnel, and we'd kind of joke, Davidson being our director of personnel, and Jeff and our GM, and myself, 60-some years of GM experience in that office. So it's
okay when you business making money. I think if you look up business in the diction is making money. With the NLL and some of these leagues, I wonder why more people aren't into it. You're not suffering for attendance here, but it can always be better. Yeah,
I think a lot of it's education, Rod. I think it's teaching fans and showing fans what it is. The U.S. is more of a field lacrosse, so getting them to come to box, and once they come, they see how exciting it is. Canada has pockets of field, but a lot of box, and when you come down, it's, again, the athletes themselves, the game. You can score, you can win 8-7, or you can win 15-14, and there's never a shortage of goals, and the talent level of these guys is phenomenal, and we believe in trying to take the entertainment to another level, and we continually looking for ideas to surprise our fans, entertain our fans, and bring them back for more.
Where do you look? Other NLL teams or other sports? Or?
Other NLL teams, minor league baseball, basketball, you name it. We're always searching for ideas, and we approach all 9 of our games as independent parties, and whether it's St. Patrick's Day, whether it's Superheroes Night, whether it's Maritimes Party, it's always a party, and we're trying to throw a party and bring our fans in and then play a high-level lacrosse game.
Well, I really appreciate that, because it's hard work, but it's also fun. I guess that's why you've done this for so long, right? Coming up with those kinds of things.
Yeah, when I say business, it's the strategy. So you're trying to have a good product on the floor or on the ice, trying to have a great product in the stands and bringing people back and listening to your customer and finding new ones. And again, I find the strategy piece of it exciting. Just where are we now and what does the future hold and how do we get there?
Nobody's really got a handle on it, right? That's the fun thing.
Yeah,
right?
It's the game, and sports is changing daily, and COVID certainly, I think, made us change a little bit, and identifying customers and how they behave now is different post-COVID, I believe, than it was pre-COVID, and we're seeing them come back to buildings, but we've had to do things differently to get them back and keep them there, and that will continue and has been in 20, 25 years or more of this. It's going to continue. You just have to keep finding ways to do it better. And let's face it, winning means everything. You have a winning team, you're going to draw fans.
Sure, but not everybody can win.
True.
We know,
so you've
right?
got to entertain your fan every night while you try and win.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll ask you about that is, because we got 2 minutes left here, and I should tell you folks, Theo Fleury and Lisa Bowes coming up down here at Grey Eagle tomorrow. It's our last day of 22 weeks here at Calgary's entertainment destination. Have you figured out the rules, Morsey? Because I could have got a rule book for the NLL, but I'm like, I think it's more fun to just sit and try and figure it out on your own. And, I see them breaking sticks across each other. You call them sticks, right?
Yep.
No penalty. Yet you just you impede a guy a little bit and you're gone to the box. Like the rules are whacked from what we're used to in hockey.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to figure out lacrosse rules, but sometimes I watch a hockey game and wonder what the rules are. So, the referees are like our players; they're learning and getting. They're developing every day, and you got to give them the space we give our players, even our elite players. So it's sports.
But is there not a rule that you can't hit a guy from the waist up or something, but you can hit him in the head? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, there is an area you can't hit him. It's waist to shoulder, I believe. But you're right. I see some headshots and think, how is that allowed? And it's different in the NLL as it is in hockey for sure. And I find the respect factor too. Like, these guys literally hammer on each other, and there's a significant respect factor when they're done or when they're playing the game, and that's part of the game.
You'll see it. He'll be whacking on, and then he'll stop like you've had enough. Yeah, I love it. All right, Morsey. Well, when we're back, we'll be going to all the games. I really appreciate you coming down because I know how busy you are, and good luck with all your teams here this season.
Thanks for having me, and let me talk a little bit about all three teams, and look forward to seeing you again.
That was the plan. The VP of the Hitmen, the Wranglers, and the Roughnecks. Nelson, our viewer, Nelson Hackowitz says hips to shoulder is legal. You can contact him there.
Legs,
yeah, Rick at Edmonton says we lost our team in Edmonton to Saskatoon. Well, you should have gone to the games. And there's some AHL comments here from Albany and Texarkana. So I knew fans would love to talk about it. We'll be right back with the Moose. Viewer Takeover begins. It's the RP Show from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on Game Plus TV and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Easy snacks snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, and I'll tell you right now, we're opening it up. Not the phone lines, but the text lines, the YouTube chat channel for whatever you would like to discuss. Viewer Takeover starts now, and before we bring in Darren Moose DuPont again from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, where he co-hosts from Daily, a sports update, some breaking news on this Wednesday. The Canadian Elite Basketball League announced today that it is expanding to Winnipeg for the 2023 season. How about that? Very Winnipegish, as John Frenzy would say. This is the CEBL's fourth expansion since the league launched in 2019 with 6 founding franchises. Details of the new team, including ticket info, team nickname, colors, logo, and more, will be announced in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, the Canadian Football League announced they will welcome Tegan Littlechief for the Singing of O Canada ahead of the 109th Grey Cup on Sunday, November the 20th. Tegan's a recording artist from White Bear First Nations of Treaty 4, located north of Carlisle, Sask, and she's set to perform the national anthem in Cree, English, and French, and she's a very close friend of ours. Way to go, Tegan. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your official home of the best GC party of the Grey Cup 109th edition. Get your tickets at Ballers Rec Room. CFL greats will be there, CFL alumni and World Series champion Greg Zahn, plus us. Hello. We're also brought to you by the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. Okay, Moose, come on in. And thanks for that. I hope you enjoyed. I hope people just enjoy my nerdism today, chatting with Morsey. He's a longtime friend. I think we're about the same age, and I've known him a long time. I'm like, Morsey, come on down and talk business of the NLL, the Dub, and the AHL, because if nobody else cares, I do, and I think people care. And now we got a pro team going to Winnipeg, a pro basketball team. You look at COVID, it didn't kill these leagues, Darren. They're actually growing, and that's great news.
It's great news. It's awesome to see these leagues growing, in the CEBL into Calgary and into Winnipeg. And we don't really know, what leagues are going to really have success and stay and go and how much, fans are going to pay attention. But they're growing and they're trying and they're continuing to add markets. And I think that's incredible. And for the basketball fans in this country, which we know there are a lot, they get to be satisfied in these other markets. So it's exciting.
Well, to tonight's schedule, as I said, hour 1 of the RP show, we put last night to bed. Hour 2, we tee up tonight. And on the topic of basketball, it's the Raptors home to the last place Houston Rockets tonight. Remember when we were down there at the Toyota Center in Houston, Darren? Didn't that seem like 100 years ago? That was pre-COVID. Yeah, obviously it was pre-COVID. It was a great time. The Rockets treated us so well in Houston. They gave us the bobblehead. Do you have that thing? You know what that bobblehead? It was a Russell Westbrook bobblehead doll. You still got it? Okay. Maybe we'll get it out during Grey Cup week next week. And here come the Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks home tonight to the first place team of the West Conference, the Utah Jazz. That's funny when we got viewers in Utah writing in saying they don't even know who's on the Jazz, let alone us. Kevin the Medium writes in, he says, hope all is safe in Florida with Hurricane Nicole coming through. Talked to Serena this morning. She says the next 24 hours will tell the tale. But for the most part, South Florida's safe. But thank you, Kevin, for the concern. Ryan in Saratoga, New York says we need to get more butts in seats at MVP Arena for Firewolves games. And that is a fact. NHL tonight, Carolina at Florida. The Vancouver Canucks are at Montreal. Pittsburgh Penguins at Washington. It's Sid versus Ovi. That's always special. In Minnesota at Anaheim. And there's college football and dub games we'll talk about a little later, too. But I actually wasn't too bad, Darren, to see the World Series end on Saturday night with the Astros winning because it was too much sports overload for me. How are you with staying on top of everything?
It's hard. It's hard, and I'm trying to sit here and prepare for my own games to do and this show, and you got to be up on everything. It's a lot. And then you want to spend some time because you and I love this. Like, we don't sit here and talk about junior hockey in the show because I get it. Our audience doesn't care about the ins and outs and the wins and losses of some of these juniors. But I want to go and support, our friend Drew Koster's Pilot Butte Storm, and I want to go to some minor hockey games. But you can't because there's so much going on all the time. It's overload. So you try and spread yourself as thin as you can.
Well, from my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat, she says, hope the Raps win for my birthday. Happy birthday, Chris. I didn't even know. It didn't come up in my Facebook feed today. From Allie in Texarkana, she says, let's go, Sid. I know. I'm cheering for the Caps and our good friend Alan May from the Caps broadcast crew. He's such a great dude. Let's get him another ring. Sydney's got enough. We talk about being on the radio in Atlanta. I was talking to a radio station. I won't say where. Moose knows. And I said, you got to get the RP show on the air. It's the hottest thing going. And they were a music station. And he goes, we're just afraid to alienate the women viewers. I'm like, you don't get it, bro. Now over 40% of our viewers of the RP show daily are female. Because it's not just a sports talk thing. What do we say? It is the view for sports fans. Why does it have to be a gender? But whatever. If I got to talk you into it, forget it. Yeah. And when you come back to us, we'll see how things are then. But that's why I appreciate Rhino Radio, my spirit brother down there in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll say this, a news release coming out from the Canadian Football League today. Nelson Hackowich, our VP of Sim Events, reminding us, he says, in the most Canadian sponsorship deal of all time, Baffin Boots and Footwear are the official winter boots of the CFL and Grey Cup playoffs. You're welcome, CFL, for the mention. To be honest, sorry, you got something to say on that?
No.
You don't? No, you're going to say something?
I had an itch on the back of my head, but I was going to say, yeah, good timing.
Why? Because of the storm that's there? That kind of thing?
Well, but, the playoffs are already a week old.
Well, they probably just signed the deal, dude.
Yeah.
Back on track. Thank you, Randy from Winnipeg. He writes in and says, Sid and Ovi might not be in the playoffs this year.
Spicy. Hot take.
What do we say about that? We want to give the viewers their say. We say that we do. And Randy in Winnipeg is clearly, he's a sharp guy, but he brought up, how about the resurgence of Carter Hart this year? Listen, Carter Hart isn't doing anything differently than he was before. And that's why, on one hand, I like going out and shaking hands with new people, spreading the gospel of the RPShow, and what's this show all about? Like, on the other hand, I don't want to talk to anybody because they don't know. And I went, it was a year ago almost to the day, I went and watched the Philadelphia Flyers at the Florida Panthers. I'm all excited to watch Carter Hart, and he got lit up. Somebody go back and look at the score. I think it was like 7-3 Panthers, which was great because it was U.S. Thanksgiving. The joint was packed, FLA Live Arena, but I felt bad for the Flyers goalie. And I'm like, well, there's a reason they fired their coach. Let's put it that way. The Philadelphia Flyers are committed finally to playing as a team defense. Sorry to go off on a tangent here right now, Moose, but I told you I talked to Rico last night, Rich Preston of the Anaheim Ducks. I had another scout, and I won't say who, text me yesterday about the deplorable defensive play of the Flames and the Oilers. He said, Pee-wee teams have more of a commitment to one-on-one matchups in defensive play than these two NHL teams from Alberta. In that, let's blame the goalie. Because I still think Carter Hart is the future in goal for Canada. If it's not Carter Hart, who is it? I'll wait. But you can see that it's about the guys in front of him. It's not all on him, right?
It has to be. And it's always both. Like, that's always been the thing when it comes to Martin Brodeur, and racking up all those times. He was also playing behind really good defensive teams in front of him that played good hockey. Now, it's not like you could have plugged any goalie in there and he would have been a Hall of Famer. The goalie still had to be a good goaltender. Brodeur, one of the best who ever played the game. But it's the same with Carter Hart. Like Patrick Roy, Martin Brodeur, you go on and on down the list. They're not going to be able to stop pucks and be in the Hall of Fame behind really bad teams. It's tough. So the team's better. Carter Hart's a great goaltender. When you get that mix, you're going to have success.
Well said, Coach DuPont. Ryan McCarthy, watching in Saratoga, New York, says, Carter Hart. Allie in Texas. I feel like it's turning into the Ryan and Allie show, and I like it. She says, women love sports. Say it louder for those in the back. At least we now have the radio stations coming to us in some cases, so we're not sitting there beating on the door. What's nice from 4 years ago, and this is bringing me back to the point that I had, whether you carry our show or you don't carry our show, we'll be fine. But you should get on board this train because it is the hottest thing going. But if you don't want to, we'll check back with you in a couple of years. And back to Morsey sitting here. I just love that guy. I could talk to him for days, and I have in the past.
Yeah.
People here are lamenting the fact that there's not a lot of people at the Wranglers games. And all attendance is down. Shoot, I went to the Hitmen game Friday night at Seven Chiefs Arena, and I had people saying, take some pictures and tell me how many people were there. Well, I don't need to tell you. The rink wasn't even half full. And the reason I don't think this is a failure of the leagues or the teams. What I think it is a breakdown in the media. As a matter of fact, I don't think it, I know it. I think I can speak as a guy that's been in this business 30 plus years. And I'm not that smart, Moose. You know that. My cousin Christine will guarantee she's known me since I was born. I walked into the Saddle Dome last winter. You were with me here. And I said to the one reporter, I said, where's all the reporters, man? I came down here to visit with everybody. And she actually said, what reporters, Rod? There's 3 people that cover this team every day. Dude, in the 90s, you couldn't get into that Ed Whalen media room before the game to get rosters and maybe a pop if you're lucky. Now there's one table to people. See what I'm saying? The media's not talking about these lower leagues, and it's a lot easier to talk about the NHL, NFL, NBA, and it's way easier for us too. And we're not really caught because we know where we're going. We could be sitting here talking all day about Edmonton and Regina tonight, Red Deer at Winnipeg, and the rematch of last night's game, which Winnipeg won, right? PA at Lethbridge, Seattle at Kamloops, PG at Kelowna. We could be doing that. But now I know far more what's going on in the NBA. And the CFL is its own biggest problem, too. So that's my soliloquy on that. Deal or no deal.
Yeah, I think I'm confused now, but I think I want to take the deal because we know where we're going. And we can still love those other leagues and go watch them and spend our time there. But yeah, in terms of widespread knowledge and communication and conversation, it's obviously the big leagues. I mean, I walk anywhere and people know all the stars in the National Football League. They know them all. So, and the NHL too. They know all the players, all the characters. And when you know the characters, it's easy to follow the story.
Ding, 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 ding.
Bingo!
Tell them what he's won, Bob. By the way, the poll question today, which we have not talked about enough, and we will right now, for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. You might think it's silly, but it's not. We've been doing it all year since June, and this will be our last week. It is which is Canada's game of the week in the Canadian Football League. And maybe when we come back, we'll talk about this weekend's division finals, your options. I don't think Clark put it up on YouTube. I haven't put it up on Twitter. We'll do that in the break. You can vote on it now. The Eastern Final, Montreal at Toronto, which I saw in SportsCenter hasn't happened in over a decade. These two teams even meeting, let alone in Toronto. And then BC, that's in the East Final. And then in the West Final, it's the BC Lions at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Ding! It just came up on the screen. So as I said, load them up. We are on the air across all 10 provinces in Canada, 31 states in the U.S., worldwide on YouTube, and on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE. And we've only fielded a couple of text messages today. They're all sitting on their hands. Maybe they're frozen, Darren. But I'm telling everybody, text us now for the rest of the show, 902-518-3033, whatever you want to talk about, we'll discuss when we return to the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino right after this on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might injure your back in a way that causes nerve damage or partial loss of mobility. Take safer steps with WorkSafeSask.ca.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is the RP Show, and we are wrapping up this week, our final of 22 weeks here at this wonderful facility, Calgary's entertainment destination. And to be honest, I've been around, I want to say, the entertainment destination of all of Western Canada. I ain't joking. Steve-O on the weekend, Tom Cochran, are you kidding me? Go to Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.ca for the entire entertainment list through, I guess we can say, winter now. Let's bring in the Moose from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle and the heartland of the Canadian Football League. Hey, Moose, looking forward to seeing you next week. Grey Cup week. David in Winnipeg watching. He says, Darren, you and I are both 87 boys, both born in 1987. He said, for me, the popular clothing but then was snap-up pants and those puffy winter jackets with sports team logos on the front pouch/pocket. Was that a thing? Because we have a thing going on about Cooperalls now. You guys are too young to understand that it was a status symbol in the 80s if you had Cooperalls. That's just a fact. Snapback hat. Tell me of what he speaks. What's he talking about?
The bright ones.
We lost
with the pouch on the front and the quarter zip. And then he was talking about the Adidas snap pants. You know, snaps all the way down the side. You could rip them right off. You know, basketball teams and stuff would wear those. The pregame warm-up. That was cool.
And strippers.
That too.
How about that?
Male strippers.
Yeah, like a firefighter or a police officer rolls in.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Rod, how do you know?
No.
Watched a lot of TV.
You disappeared for an evening in Vegas. Where did you go? Never mind.
Yeah.
Thunder Down Under. Nelson.
Hot.
Should we tell the viewers about the time you were offered the chance to be a stripper, Darren, or no?
Maybe let's get into that.
Let's go.
Friday. Friday show when we don't have a show. Why don't we do an open mic at our, it's not ours, I guess, Ballers party during Canadian Football Championship week. Craig Campbell's watching from the Hockey Hall of Fame, and he says the Hockey Hall of Fame has Bill Barber's Cooperalls. Hey, I love it. And by the way, I don't like the way Cooperalls are being spat on by people this week. Is that there were some kind of, what would you say? They were the coolest thing ever. And we started this show. For those that missed it, I said, everybody wants to argue with everything I say right now, and I'm emotionally tired of it. Some guy goes, they weren't that cool, Rod, or they would have lasted. Nothing lasted, dude. MC Hammer's balloon pants didn't last. Nothing lasts forever other than Jeeps. That's why they call it iconic. They never go out of style.
Yeah.
Jeeps are like the only thing I know that don't ever go out of style. Aviator glasses did. Then they came back. And, you know, they were saying those starter jackets have come back. I was watching that game at Kevin the Medium's the other day, BC Calgary, and the staff for the Lions were wearing those puffy starter jackets. I'm like, what year is it? It felt like 1995 again.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable that it goes that way, but it does. But you're right, certain things never go out of style. So the Cooperalls is funny because, you know, none of the pros, by the time I was growing up, the pros didn't wear Cooperalls. So we always wanted to look like the pros. And it'd always be the one kid. I said the ringette girls all wore the long pants, so that's why we didn't think it was cool. But there'd always be the one kid who had the hand-me-down pair from his dad and had to wear them because, whatever. We all wore secondhand gear because it's so expensive. We just wanted to look like the pros. And in the 80s, if the pros were wearing Cooperalls, that would be the coolest thing to wear.
Right. If you didn't think Cooperalls were cool, then you'll never know cool. FY, you'll never know what it is to be cool if you didn't think Cooperalls were cool. Now, I appreciate the people chiming in. Allie in Texas, again, I feel like we should send a camera down there to her. She should be on this show. She says, and that, by the way, is a compliment. She's got a lot to add. She says, leopard print clothing never goes out of style. Agreed. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says it wasn't many years ago when literally everyone, male and female, wore black leather jackets in the winter. Well, I'm happy to hear you say that. A couple things. Moose and I noticed, how long did it take us to realize Calgary is the leather pants capital of the globe? How long did it take? A couple hours?
Stepping off the tarmac, literally.
Right. A lot of leather pants around here, and we're here for it. Yes. So you've been gone. I've been here. Out of the 22 weeks that we've been in Calgary, I don't know how many you've been. I've been here the whole 22. So every time I see leather pants, I'm like, Moose should be here. I see them everywhere. And
it went to leather pants, to jean shorts in the summer, and then back to leather pants.
And they were always wearing boots in both cases.
Yes.
Right? Thank you, viewers, for keeping me on track here, if I am at all. But the people, speaking of fads, I'll say it again for those that weren't watching earlier. I talked to my 12-step sponsor this morning, and I told him that I was going to be in Regina next week, and he is in Regina. He goes, oh, really? What are you coming to Regina for? I'm like, dude, the Grey Cup. He's like, oh. And by the way, he's very with it and cool. You met him, Darren. He came out here and stayed with me for a week, right? We went to some Flames games. He watched live shows. He's not a donkey. But that is where the buzz is for the Riders right now in this hype. And in the 90s, this is not the guy with sour grapes that got fired by the Riders. But this is a fact. In the 90s, you didn't see Rider stuff on people in Regina. You didn't see gear. And it's hard for somebody like you to believe because you're so young. You can't imagine a day that every second person's not wearing a hat or a T-shirt or underwear or whatever. In the 90s, it was those puffy starters jackets of Chicago Bulls and Green Bay Packers. End of story. And Chicago Bulls, and by the way, what was going on then? Brett Favre and the Packers were winning Super Bowls, and Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls were winning 6 NBA championships. The Bulls were the #1 global merchandise. End of story. That's all you saw around Regina. Never saw Rider merchandise except for some old fart mowing his lawn in the summertime wearing a sweatshirt from the 89 team that was all faded and worn out. That's all you saw. And when I say that I see the 90s again, those that were around are like, yeah, Rod, you're right. They agree. And there are those that just will never, ever, ever agree. And I don't want to go on any more of a tangent than that because we could sit here and talk about the Riders and the CFL forever, but there's so many other things going on. But there's a lot of people that I get it. They don't want to accept it because they don't have a choice. They don't want to hear the truth. It's like, well, it's the only team we have. There's nothing I can do about it, so go Riders. When we come back, it is our final segment of the day, Overtime, and let's get to it. Actually, that reminds me, to give you an idea of some of the text messages that are coming in, I mentioned God's team, the Regina Pats, are home tonight to the Edmonton Oil Kings in Dub Hockey. Steve Nees in what a great name, Steve Nees. Writes in and he says, the lower bowl in Saskatoon for Regina versus Saskatoon is almost sold out. When are the Pats at the Blades, Moose? Is it this weekend? It must be.
Yeah, it must be. I'm going to have to check the schedule a little closer, but that's awesome.
So Bedard Fever is definitely sweeping Saskatoon.
How
we'll
about
be back
that?
with Overtime after this on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Oh boy, here we go, and it's gonna get spicy on this last segment of the program. It's called Overtime. It's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Football League. Are you ready, Moose? Are you
Let's
ready?
go.
Okay, so you said snap pants for the 90s. Our director of scouting, Craig Smith, where the heck is he? Smitty's watching. And he says he still has the snap pants, but his stripper days are over. Thank you, Smitty. I appreciate that. But I don't even know where to my mind is blown because we have a text here from Illinois. You know, we are in 31 states, and Illinois is one of the 31 states. Lana Bauman is watching in Prairie City, Illinois. And she said, why does your show take the spot from In the Heat of the Night? We start to watch it, and your show cuts right in the middle. I don't know. But it's a hell of a great question. Who do we need to talk to about this? Do you remember the show In the Heat of the Night, Darren?
I don't.
Oh!
I wish I did. I
well,
know.
Lana, you're lucky that I'm in the age group that I know exactly that. Maybe because Carol O'Connor takes precedence over us. That's the original Archie Bunker. In the Heat of the Night. Go look this stuff up, Darren. Make a list. So in Prairie City, Illinois, we get bumped off the air on the replay at night for Carol O'Connor and the Heat of the Night. Where do we register a complaint? We have people upset. We can't have it. We can't have people upset. Todd,
no, we cannot.
On the 902 line writes and he says, the thing I remember about Cooperalls is how slippery they were without the wool socks when you fell on the ice. It was like you stepped on a crazy carpet. But that's a long, long time ago. Listen, my brother and I were talking about Cooperalls last night, and I told you he was standing there when I opened mine up my 10th birthday. And he's like, what are those, a toy? They were tiny. And we had a good laugh about Cooperalls. They were so cool, but I wore them. Listen, I have in a photo album that my mom collected. If I'd have had the photo album with me, I would have put a photo of me in Cooperalls, but I don't have the album with me, but I'll get it. I also played goal in Cooperalls. That's how much I love those babies. I didn't take them off, man. At least my mom and dad knew that them getting me that for my birthday was the greatest gift they could ever get me. I was good for years. And then they got me back in my grade 12 Christmas when they gave me a typewriter. Can you believe that?
That was the one.
Can you
That's
believe
cool.
that? No, it's not cool at all. It's embarrassing. What's cool about that? A typewriter. Were you listening to me?
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, I thought you wanted one. You were writing stories all the time. I guess it's not cool to get a typewriter as a gift when you're in grade 12, but doesn't matter how much you use it.
Oh. And my mom and dad know. I love them, but really? I did. I pounded out 1,000 stories on that thing, so. Randy, which incidentally nobody ever read. I would write those articles and then put them in a file folder. Nobody would ever read them.
That's the worst. You know, the practical gift, the one that you use all the time is always it's not fun. It's like, I was going to get this anyways, you know?
In grade 11, they gave me an electric razor. By the way, Zinger News. Watching Zinger News. And he's my former producer. And he, on the old radio show. And he says, come on, talk some Hear the Deer. And I said, they'll kick your ass.
Oh, no. Rod.
Okay, I'm back.
You got to do it again.
What's the last thing you heard? What's the last thing you heard?
Oh, you just mentioned that Zinger News was watching your old producer at the local radio show. And then I think you were going to rip him or something about the Bucks, but you broke up. So
yeah, I'm back. Again. I'm back, baby. So he says, you got to talk hashtag Fear the Deer. And I said, I'll talk Fear the Deer. The Hawks kicked your ass Monday night.
How about
and he writes me back. He goes, no, they don't. We're 9-0. I'm like, no. I screenshotted it. The Atlanta Hawks, hashtag true to ATL, won 117-98 on Monday night in Hotlanta. And the fact that I know that scares me. It scares me.
I like it.
So, and he says he is the only Milwaukee Bucks fan in Sask, which is true. And he says he's too busy surrounded by people that care too much about the Craptors. Are you old enough to remember us calling them the Craptors? Are you at least old enough to remember that when they were the Craptors and they were? Yeah.
Yeah. Not a good time.
That was before Masai Ujiri.
Yeah.
Right? Randy in Winnipeg. And I love this. This is a different Randy than the one that writes it on YouTube. This guy's texting in 902 line. He says, good afternoon, RP Show. Maybe TSN and Sportsnet should show more junior highlights on their shows. A couple of minutes could easily be put in. how much time we got. Here's my thing. We got 3 minutes. That's an eternity in TV time. I'm not going to criticize TSN or Sportsnet for how they do things. You know, that's what they do. I do what I do, right? Because I'm kind of sitting there last night going, Curtis Rourke, we all know what Curtis Rourke's doing, and why do we all know? Because they're talking about him all the time, and they're showing the games, but he's Canadian. That's not Curtis Rourke's fault, the Maple Missile. When we grew up in the 90s, what was TSN Sports Center in Canada? Junior hockey highlights. They did all the games. They had NLL highlights, but we didn't have the Raptors back then, you know? So I can't complain about what they're doing. We'll just sit here and do what we do. And this reminded me, I'm walking around this town. I got so many people coming up to me in the Saddle Dome, in the mall. You've seen it when you were here, Darren. And they're like, your last minute of play in the RP show. Last minute of play. They're like, tell me about your show. Everybody's talking about your show. I'm like, it's like the Canadian, pardon the interruption. And when we started, it was like Letterman meets SportsCenter meets Howard Stern. And now it's kind of evolved to the Canadian PTI. But it's just a hell of a lot of fun. You know?
Yeah, it is.
Max Hitmen, thank you, Rhino Radio, for chiming in on that. Things are going great. That's all I can say. 30 seconds, Moose. What do you got? Finish strong.
Yeah, I think things are going great. So just on that, it's going to be a great weekend, and headed to Saskatoon this afternoon. So I'll finish with that. Getting set for the Hardy Cup. Get a little plug in for UBC and U of S.
All right. My cousin Chris says, I'm sure a lot of thought was put into your gifts. I know, Chris. Mom and Dad get it. It's a show. It's entertainment. See you tomorrow, noon Eastern.
Who has more fun than us?
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.